What is up, guys? We're back. It's Joe. We're talking about the transfer portal, talking about K-State basketball as another prospect has been contacted by the Cats. Someone to know as we continue through the transfer portal cycle. Before I do jump into the player, quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out every single day. As we continue to jump through this offseason together, one step at a time, trying to figure out who's going to be on the roster next year, who we're recruiting, who we're going after, all that and more. We're going to talk about it all in today's video. So be sure and hit the subscribe button because there's a ton more of these videos coming your way. But let me jump right away into the player we're discussing. Now, this player has been in headlines recently, and I'll tell you in a sec why. But this player is Amarion Dickerson, played at Robert Morris this season and is fresh off of a big outing in the NCAA tournament with a performance against Alabama that turned a lot of different heads. He's a 6'7" forward from Cleveland, Ohio, and someone I'm excited to talk about in today's video. I'll jump right in as I usually do, tossing up some highlights so you can get a feel for his game. And off the rip here, I'll just be honest about it. This is one of my favorite prospects we've talked about in the last couple of videos. Amarion Dickerson's a kid that I really feel good about, and I think would be a good fit at Kansas State. Now, let me jump into some stats and some information on the background side of things. Like I said, a big performance in the NCAA tournament game, single-handedly, I guess nearly single-handedly, kept Robert Morris in the game against Alabama, one that everybody was kind of watching on upset alert. Basically, the first 33 minutes of the game, Robert Morris was right in the game until Alabama eventually started to pull away. A large part of that was due to Dickerson, who went off in the game, posting 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks, was all over the court, connecting in the paint, converting in one, splashing threes. He did a little bit of everything, kept his team in it, unfortunately got sent home, and eventually entered the transfer portal. Now, teams that have reached out to him, there's 3. Obviously, he's probably got more than that as well, but the 3 that are being mentioned the most in connections to the kid, like I said, K-State were one of them. And then you've also got 2 more teams with 2 of the hottest coaching, candidates in college basketball. Maybe not candidates, not the right thing to say, but Will Wade, who just made the jump from McNeese after upsetting a team in the NCAA tournament, upsetting Clemson, I believe, in the NCAA tournament. Now he's at NC State. That program's going to be off and running quick. Dang good coach. Then you got Louisville's Pat Kelsey, who had a great first season with Louisville and has that team turning over some new leaves, figuring some things out. Those are the 3 teams that have been mentioned: K-State, Louisville, and NC State. Each of those 2 teams is going to be hard to beat out, especially when you consider with Louisville, Pat Kelsey, before he accepted the Louisville job, was at the College of Charleston. Guess where he recruited Amarion Dickerson to right before this? He recruited him initially to Charleston. Didn't end up working out. He committed, decommitted, went the JUCO route. We'll talk about that in a second, but didn't quite work out there. But Pat Kelsey definitely does have that relationship, and Will Wade's a hot name on the coaching market. But let me jump into some stats to give you an idea for his game. This season, he averaged 13.3 points, 5.9 rebounds, and 1.3 assists on 53.1% shooting from the field, 27.6% shooting from 3, and 70% from the free throw line. He had an offensive rating of 116.3 on a 20% usage rate. And you'll see it in the video, but I'll mention it here as well as we continue going on. He had some great numbers when you talk about specific aspects of basketball. He's a great catch-and-shoot type guy. He's really, really good in transition. He's really good in a couple of different areas, so this is the ideal stats there. He's in the 68th percentile of all college basketball when it comes to spot-up shooting, the 80th percentile in transition, and then he's also in the 84th percentile of pick and rolls and pick and pop, being the pick and roll / pick and pop man. A guy that can step out and shoot threes, also a guy that's going to put pressure on the rim. And you'll see that, especially in the transition clips. The kid's got multiple aspects of his game that are really, really impressive, that are really, really well-rounded. I mean, he's a guy that can score, whether it's, all right, I'm going to post this guy up, go around him, whatever the case is. I can score an ISO, I can score off ball, I can do whatever I need to. He's got a lot to like about his game, and you'll see it on tape. The thing that I do think should be mentioned, like I said, went the JUCO route, which is actually really, really beneficial to Kansas State or whoever he ends up with, because you understand that the new eligibility ruling, you're going to get those years back. Prior to his time at Robert Morris, spent 2 seasons at Mineral Area Community College. And in those 2 seasons, I think his first year he averaged like 7 points, second one was 12 points, made the jump to Robert Morris, and has now gotten to the point where he's conducting some huge offers in the transfer portal. But something to talk about with this kid, I think he's a really good spot. And for Kansas State, I have a lot of comments on the channel basically saying, well, is this kid going to be a project? Is he going to be this? Is he going to be a starter? Is he coming off the bench? I don't know the answer to all this. The point of what I'm going to say is this. If the kid's giving the 1 seed in that bracket buckets and can't be stopped, as well as looked really, really good in multiple different aspects of the game, and is being recruited by teams like Louisville and NC State, he's a pretty damn good player. I would expect him in the starting lineup. The question becomes this. Where does that fit to be? Does he start at the 3 as kind of a wing guy? Does he look as, maybe an undersized 4? Even though he's 6'7", the kid's a little on the lighter side. He's like 185 pounds. He's not a huge dude in terms of that size. So definitely something he'd have to get into the gym and work on, try to get closer to 200 pounds, but it's a valid question to see. Is he quick enough to be a 3 on the wing? Is he big enough to be in the 4? You don't quite know, but you got to like the effort he plays with, the hustle he plays with. As I said in the last couple of videos, really, I've just been kind of hammering this. The thing that I come to question is Kansas State had realistically 0 effective wings last season. Max Jones was a wing, but an undersized wing at that at 6'4". You didn't really have guys on the wing that were putting pressure on the rim. Super quick break. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, 63% of the people watching this video right now are currently not subscribed to the YouTube channel, and feel free absolutely to ignore this and skip this, whatever the case is. But those of you that are watching right now and are unsubscribed, be sure and consider hitting that subscribe button if you love Kansas State, if you appreciate the channel. It's a great way to support me as I continue to grow on this journey, and it's also incredible to bring more K-State fans in like yourself on a consistent basis to see more of my K-State content. Once again, if you're in that 63% or if you're in the alternative in the 37%, I love and appreciate you. Back to the Cats. So I don't know whether it's to say that he's a set guy on the wing or a set guy at the 4. You know, I really don't care, to be perfectly honest with you. The name of the game is adding good players. This is a good basketball player. You win this recruitment, you're sitting pretty. I know that's generalizing it. I know it's not, set in stone to say, well, Joe, why aren't you thinking about him like this? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you do that? The reality of the situation is the dude's a good basketball player. He puts the ball in the net. He defends. Also forgot to mention this until now. Probably should have mentioned it way earlier. He was also the Horizon League Defensive Player of the Year. So the kid's going to strap in on both ends of the court. He's going to be a really good basketball player. But I know the question of, well, is he going to fit as a 3? Is he going to fit as more of a 4? I'm just not going to dive into that because I don't really care, to be perfectly honest with you. If he's a good basketball player, he should be on the basketball court and you should make it work as the coaching staff. Now that's obviously dumbing it down, but the point of what I'm saying here is he's a damn good basketball player and you should absolutely go after the kid. Now how you beat Louisville, especially when they have a pre-established relationship, I'm not quite sure. I'm not really sure which way you go with that, but I do think if you win this recruitment, it's a big deal for K-State, obviously. Also, the kid has 3 more years to grow. Like I said, he's a junior right now. 2 of those years are JUCO level, so you get 2 years back and some change. So the kid technically has 3 more years to develop in college basketball. That's the incredible part. You have a high floor guy already. You bring him to Big 12 basketball, get him up to speed with the league jump from the Horizon League to the Big 12 Conference, and the kid can hit the ground running. He moves well up and down the court in transition, on defense, on offense, looks good in ball screen action, looks good catch and shoot wise, can defend his tail off. This is a no downside ad. That's the way I see this. Even if the kid comes off the bench as a six man or somebody just to come in as kind of a backup for whatever the case is, the kid's a damn good player. I think you go at him, you add him to the roster. He'll have a good player on the court. That's all you got to think about this one. Don't overthink it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't do it anything beyond the average. Just think about the kid being a damn good basketball player, someone that could help Kansas State win basketball games. That's where I'll leave it at for today's video, guys. I appreciate all the love and support on the channel. I'll talk to you guys here soon with more transfer portal content, I assume. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Go Cats!